All right, scrapbook friends, here we are back with volume 2 of our summer vacation from 2015. If you saw volume 1, that was our trip out west to go to a family reunion, and now this one is going to start the actual family reunion. Like I told you last time, I did the same kind of title page, used same daily docket papers, but I changed the background, I changed the font colors, and I moved the title block from up here to down here. So it's similar. I feel like it ties together. I always like to do that with a multi-volume album. But it's not exactly same, which is really helpful sometimes too if you don't want to bother looking up and making it exactly same. So we had our family reunion at a rental house on Bear Lake in Fish Haven, Idaho, and it was absolutely stunning. I had this paper pack, it was called Seasons. It was, I think, a customer gift from Creative Memories several years ago. In the old CM, I have several packs of it left. And so all the layouts that are just kind of generic family reunion layouts, I used either the yellow or the gray from this paper pack. I tried to use a whole lot of it to make that consistent, even though my album is mostly chronological. Sometimes it couldn't be because I had just random pictures that I wanted to put together. So you'll see this yellow chevron again, just with generic family reunion pictures. Again, generic photos just of the people at the reunion. We had several of us with our cameras taking pictures all the time. And so I just did a couple layouts in the book of just random people, the people that we love. I have no idea what paper pack this is, but I like it. Purple and green, cute kids. So one of the things that we did for our family reunion was what we called the Family Olympics. And my husband and my brother were kind of the driving force behind this. And so all the next several layouts are going to be the Family Olympics. We had just gotten this circle weave chain border maker cartridge, which actually the pieces that in here are colored. On that one, on the actual cartridge are open, but I was able to kind of fussy cut out some pieces and layer it to make this colored chain, which hopefully is a little reminiscent of the Olympic rings. And then just all our Olympics pictures are going to have this, and all our Olympics pictures are going to have the same font. And I do not remember the name of these fonts. I made this album a year or two ago. I could find them if anybody really wants me to, but it may take me a while, so be patient. But here we go with the Family Olympics, just some generic pictures. Then each kind of activity that we did. This one you had to pour water behind your head to the next person, and whoever had the most water in their cup at the end was the winner. Pie eating contest where someone would sit in front, someone would sit in back, and then you had to feed them. That was a lot of fun. If you have a reunion coming up, my son apparently succeeded at eating pie. One of the things that I hear a lot with scrapbooking is only choose your best pictures. And sometimes people can look at a set of pictures like this and they can pick one that's the best one. I could not pick which one was the best. My daughter is just so funny at making funny faces. She's just a ham. And so I just had to put them all in. The ones with my sister laughing, with, trying to eat the pie. So, this is a 3-volume scrapbook, and before I even had determined it was going to be a 3-volume scrapbook, I knew I wanted to put all these pictures because all of them are my favorite. This was not a scheduled activity, but the kids sure liked the pool noodles, and we caught them often playing with the noodles and lightsabering, sword fighting, balance beaming, whatever with the noodles. So I threw that in with the Olympics, even though it wasn't technically part of the Olympics. So this cookie game is super fun if you've ever played it. You put an Oreo cookie up on your forehead, and then you have to, without touching it, you have to wiggle your face and get the cookie down into your mouth. And I took tons of pictures. My mom was up on top looking up from below, so she got some good pictures. Here we've got my nephew. He's got it almost in his mouth, and then bam, he got it right into his mouth. We have cookies falling. We have lots and lots of funny faces. And then, of course, my daughter was the winner, because if there's something I could teach my kids, it's how to eat an Oreo. So then we did another candy bar game, which was more like a word game. So like the clue for mine was single woman's dream. And then the answer was big hunk. And if you guessed right, then you got to have the candy. So then this is kind of the end of the Olympics. We did a little awards ceremony. The kids got medals and, you know, wore them appropriately or inappropriately. You know, here's my daughter trying to, you know, bite it to see if it's real gold. It was not, spoiler alert. And anyway, so this is the end of where I kind of tied all these Olympics together with that same border punch. So it had a beautiful wraparound deck. We ate out there for dinner a lot, well, the times we were there, and here's are just a bunch of random dinner pictures. Here we've got that chevron paper again, and this is for pictures down in the game room. Just, you know, random game room pictures. So many pictures, all the cameras, and I just have this random collage page. One of these days I'm going to do a video about how to create a collage page like this. You don't need to have a template or anything like that. It's just a little technique that anybody can learn to make a collage page with random photos. I think these are other papers from the Seasons paper pack. I mostly use the chevron, but I had some of these others. And then this is another multi-pocket page. And the pictures were small, so I mounted them on a little bit oversized mats so that they'd overlap and I wouldn't have anything showing. And then again, I like to take this clear section on either side of the multi-pocket page. It is sealed shut when you purchase it. But if you just take a little X-Acto knife, you can just cut a little slit at the top and slide a paper insert in. And I like to do that. It's completely unnecessary, but I like the look that it gives. All right, so then here's the back, and then I continue with my collage page. Some of the family went hiking, and this actually was a close to my heart paper pack. It was actually a baby paper pack, something about a giraffe, I think. But I love the colors. I thought they worked really well for a hiking page. And you can see everybody's wearing jackets in this part of southern Idaho in July. This was the week after the 4th of July. It was freezing, and we wore lots of jackets that week. Here's just some more family pictures with that same paper, just to tie just kind of generic pictures together again. I didn't really have a theme for this page, but boy, we had a lot of fun hanging out together. I got these pictures of my niece dancing around, and then my nephew joined her, and I just thought they were so fun that I decided to put a whole layout in my album. I couldn't come up with a title for this page. I wanted a perfect title. So I actually took a picture of the layout without the title and posted it on Facebook, and I crowdsourced a title, and I love it. I love the Dance Like Nobody's Watching title. My husband has a giant bubble net that you dip in a bucket of bubble stuff, and it makes these giant bubbles. And the kids had so much fun playing with it. I got so many fun pictures of the bubbles. I had seen this, I think it was an SVG file somewhere on Pinterest, and was able to purchase it and cut it out just for this corner. And then I just used tons and tons of circles, because when you cut pictures into circles, not only do you put the emphasis just on the part that you want, but you can fit a lot more pictures on one layout. So I've got lots and lots of bubble pictures, and a few, you know, thrown in rectangle pictures, you know, on the first page and then this page, because this one needed to be a rectangle. But just so much fun with the bubbles, and a few more bubbles because I couldn't stop. And this picture right here of my niece is just one of my favorites, even though her hand is covering her face. Just that expression of joy. I think this was before she put the bubbles on her head, but I like this one, and I wanted it to go right here to kind of be the anchor of this page right here. And you see how I put the rectangles on either side, just to kind of some balance. I actually ran out of this blue paper. I didn't have enough to do full wallpapering, and so I just used little strips of it, where on the first 2 pages I used the whole thing, and then as I went on, this one just has a little thin border, And this one has a little bit bigger because this is my last page and I could use up all that I had left. So even if you don't have enough paper to like completely do your background, you can still use the same paper over several layouts to tie them all together. So we had a beautiful rainbow one day and took some pictures. And of course, my husband and my daughter had to ham it up right there at the end of the rainbow, telling me that they're my pot of gold, which, you know, technically, I guess when you think about it, they kind of are. So this was fun, you know, family reunion and all the kids are on their phones. I had a paper pack of kind of digital techie designs that I bought years ago, probably on clearance somewhere, that I didn't know how I was going to use because these are really, really busy patterns, hard to use. But I just, by mounting my pictures on this purple and then just kind of scattering this around, there's some metallic accents in the paper pack, so I used this little red metallic paper just as a little accent to go around the photos, and I think this turned out fun for all these kind of random device photos. One of the things that the Bear Lake area is famous for are their raspberry milkshakes, and so one night, even though it was really cold that week, we bundled up and we went down and got some milkshakes. We tried to sit outside in their little covered wagon, and it was too cold. So then we went inside and, you know, because you're going to be cold eating a milkshake, you might as well do it inside where it's warm. So fortunately for us, one day that we were there, the weather got up above 70. And so we were able to actually go to the lake and swim and have fun. And then I have a whole bunch of pictures now or a whole bunch of layouts now from Bear Lake. And this was also from that season's paper pack. It was a very assorted pack. And I just used it for all the lake pictures along with the hot pink, some orange, and a couple other random papers I had that I didn't have much of. So, I cut them up and used them sparingly. I think this is actually the button chain border maker cartridge that I punched and then just hid the buttonhole part so I could just have that little scallopy edge. So just a ton of pictures, not a lot of journaling, just crammed in as many pictures as I could. Those of us that, maybe weren't so excited about going into the water, sat on the shore, and my husband had the brilliant idea to back up our van so we could sit on the back of the van. So that was really nice while the kids played. And then some of the people caught doing cartwheels, and I have a multi-burst on my camera, and so I decided to just go put the whole cartwheel progression here. Thought that was a fun one. And again, you see it, I'm using the same layout for all the lake pictures. So everything to go together, I've tried to pick just a couple of fonts so I don't have to have a different font for every page. So then we went out on the boat. We rented a boat, and so the shore pictures are kind of in these colors, and the boat pictures in these colors. I use the same font to tie it together, and this is again from that season's paper pack. I had several of them and was able to use a lot of the pieces in here. Not a lot of journaling. This is just boat pictures. And then the whole tubing thing. I got some great photos. This picture right here of my daughter is one of my very most favorite pictures ever. Some of these where they got some sky. Some of these where people ended up in the water because they fell off the tube. Found out later that actually pulling a tube behind a boat and riding on a tube is actually super dangerous. And my brother-in-law did actually get hurt his shoulder pretty bad, and I think ended up needing to have surgery to get it repaired. So, I'm not necessarily condoning tubing, but boy, this made for some fun pictures, and I appreciate the people besides me who got photos, because every round of boat we had to divide our group into smaller groups so everyone would have a turn and everybody took pictures. So I had all these to choose from, and all these to choose from, because they're just fun pictures. All right, we also rented a paddleboard and a little kayak. And for this one, I used the yellow from the kayak kind of as my color scheme to choose what color to do my title. I have tons of little tiny pictures because I was on the shore and I wanted to put them in because they were cute and they fit right here. And same thing with the jet ski. my brother-in-law had rented a jet ski, and so just he and his kids mostly rode the jet ski while everyone else was on the boat. And then when they came to take the boat back, they used this little tractor to tug it in, and my husband got to drive the boat onto the shore, which is not something you get to see every day. And then here we buried my son in the sand and, you know, left him as our little prisoner. He's a good sport. More random lake pictures. A crying baby because it did start to get cold. So we headed home, ate some more again. These are probably pictures not from that, necessarily from that same day. But if you remember earlier in the scrapbook, I used the same kind of design. I had this pattern paper. Don't know who it's from. This is like pot holders and then little mixing bowls and spoons. And I just duplicated that layout I had done earlier. And then more pictures of us out on the deck. This was actually some National Scrapbook Day paper from a few years ago that Creative Memories had put out. And another hike with my mom. My mom loves hiking and loves that the kids will go hiking with her. So anyone that will go with her, she's happy to take them hiking. And anyone that wants to stay home with my dad. But the hikers had fun and got some beautiful pictures for us. And everybody slept really well. I have lots of pictures of people sleeping. And this is that same chevron paper, but I had the gray instead of the yellow. So that's the end of volume 2. I'm only at 16 minutes. I think I'm going to go ahead and pull out volume 3 and we will keep going. All right, once again, I've used this great USA album cover, which I just love so much. And so glad they came out with it the year that we drove across the country, even though not all of this album is driving. A lot of it's family reunion. All right, so here's volume 3, title page. Very similar again to the ones that I had for volume 1 and volume 2. We hired a professional photographer to come up to the lake and do our family group photo. Not all the family was here. One of my sisters was in Australia that year, so she didn't come. One of the husbands didn't come. I think one of the nieces couldn't come, but as many as we could get. We were glad to have them in the photo. We were able to get the lake in the background, and just love these photos. Our color scheme was kind of this coral and teal, and so I just used that for my my color scheme for all of these family photo pictures. This is kind of a gray chevron paper, and I just used it behind all the pictures in this section. So this is the whole group of the family. These are just the cousins, and then this is the grandparents, parents, and the grandkids. And then just some, you know, random group photos. Couldn't decide which one I liked better. So this one I think I printed as maybe as a 8x12 and trimmed it. I can't remember how I did this, but I love that I have this square picture. And then just all kind of the random outtakes. I always love to save those. We always have funny faces and kids playing, and, you know, maybe I don't want that necessarily that whole picture, but people on the background were taking pictures. I love this one where the moms are trying to get the kids to smile while the photographer's taking the pictures. That's always a fun adventure, trying to get all the kids to smile for the camera at the same time. Okay, this is going to be tricky because I have a fold-out page here. I forgot that I had that, and I don't know if it's going to fit on screen. But I can tell by turning the page, this is thicker. So when I turn the page, here I have a fold-out layout. And I've done a video on my channel about how to do a fold-out page in your Creative Memories album. And so if you're interested in how to do that, you can look for that. I'll try to remember to link in the comments to that video. But what it allowed me to do was have this layout. So here's my parents, and then each of their individual family, the children, each of their kids and their families, even my sister in Australia who FaceTimed us, and I got a little picture of her. So that's her only appearance in the family reunion album this year. But then from the middle, I put a little note that said open here. And if you open it up, it opens up to have all the all the cousins, and I did individual photos of each of the cousins by age, and put their name and how old they were. We had two of the nieces that couldn't be there, so I just left an empty space and told their name and why they weren't there. Went all the way across for the kids by age, and then the other side has the rest of the kids by age, all the way down to the babies. Anyway, so this was just a fun thing to have a single individual photo of each of the grandchildren by themselves, and then it just folds together on the family, you know, the family group pages right here. And we're not done. We got more family pictures. So these are my parents, just the parents and the children. We have a tradition that there are 7 girls and we have 1 brother, total of 8 of us. And we have a tradition that we like to do this picture where we lift up my brother. And so we have some fun pictures, and of course it doesn't always go well. So here he's falling, and I just love this picture. We just look like we're having a great time because we are. And then we had a few pictures which were just one child with one parent. And even though, you know, we all know I'm the favorite, I asked that just so that the rest of them will feel better. But just kidding, sisters who are listening, and brother, we know who the favorite is. It's not me. All right, and then I did it by family group. So this is my family, and so just the pictures of our family I put on here. And then as I go through the album, each family group has their own photos. Some families took more than others. Some didn't have all the members of their family, so they didn't necessarily take a lot of family group photos. But you see, I've just used the same color scheme all the way through, and just varied up how I arranged the pictures. This one I matted this, you know, just to make it a little bit different. But that way I was able to maximize what little of this gray chevron I had. I had tons of the coral paper, and I feel like it matched well with all our pictures. And then again, and more outtakes, I think, just because we took a lot of pictures. We had a lot of fun. And we did actually come up with a hashtag for our trip. And so I went ahead and put the hashtag in here, even though I don't know that we used it for anything but ourselves. This is a fun picture that the photographer took. My son's name is Alex, and my niece's name is Alice. And to see them kind of looking at each other through the glass in that way with his reflection shadow kind of around her body, I think turned out really cool. All right, we're done with the family portraits. We had 2 people who share a birthday, my sister-in-law and my nephew, not his mom, a different family, and so we had a cake for them. I only have these 3 pictures of them, and these 2 are very similar, but I've had this piece of paper forever. It had this big design on it, and I would not ordinarily be able to use this because I'm going to cover it up with photos. I don't want the paper to be the focus of my layout. But when I only had 3 photos to go here, and I wanted to do a double page spread just to keep with the flow of the rest of the album, it gave me the opportunity to use this paper. So it's actually, these are 2 papers. I cut this one from here, and this, as you can see, is actually the top of this, and I just flipped it around, and then I did this green chevron, and I think it worked out really well. I'm happy with how that turned out. And just like that, it's over. End of the reunion already. Use my last, for the last time, this gray chevron to kind of tie all those random family pictures together. People packing their cars, going away, and it was just a few pictures at the very end of our trip, saying goodbye to this beautiful lake, beach out. It wasn't even a lake house. It was overlooking the lake. It was up in the hills overlooking the lake in Fish Haven, Idaho. We rented it from VRBO. If anybody's looking for a place to rent vacation rentals, we had a great time. All right, so then we drove back home, and we stopped along the way at the Flaming Gorge Dam. We didn't really go in, but we did use the dam bathroom, and we did walk through the dam lobby because we love to make dam jokes. So I got a couple little stickers in the gift shop. I always like to get stuff that's flat, and saved, again, the flyer. Here's just another different way of doing a pocket so that you can have a place to save some of those pieces of memorabilia. And then the main reason we went that way was so that we could go to the Dinosaur National Monument, which is on the border of Utah and Colorado. And there's not much else out there. There's a little town called Vernal, and my grandmother actually grew up in Vernal, so that was kind of fun, but I don't have any family that I know there. But we were so glad that we detoured through the Dinosaur National Monument. We didn't have a lot of time. We got there at the end of the afternoon and they were closing, so we only had about an hour and a half, but it was still really, really worth it to go to the Dinosaur National Monument. Again, my pocket with the map. Some pictures. They had little markers that talked about the different things that happened in history. And then because it was the end of the day, there was hardly anybody left. So we had pretty much the whole visitor center to ourselves. So I got some fun pictures with dinosaurs, big giant bones, my son posing with a scary T-Rex. I wasn't a T-Rex. It was, oh, I don't know what it was. My journaling says, Alex said, I'm glad it's been a couple of weeks since I saw Jurassic World. Otherwise, I'd be freaking out. They have this cool wall of fossils and a section where you can actually touch actual fossils. So that was really neat. The park ranger showed us all the fossils, and he said that actually the majority of the fossils that they have are not from dinosaurs, they're from clams. But he said nobody would want to come to a clam national monument. So that's kind of become a family joke of ours, is that I want to go to the Clam National Monument. So that was fun. And then here's that whole wall of fossils. It was just really awesome to just see how many dinosaur fossils there are in this one piece of wall, and they built the building around it because that's where all the fossils were. So here's some close-ups. I don't know, this might be Echo Park dinosaur paper. I'm sorry that I keep forgetting to tell you about the actual scrapbook paper that I used, because I get so excited about my pictures. But in my opinion, that's the mark of a good scrapbook, if you're not distracted by that cute pattern paper, that cute sticker, but the pictures end up, and the story end up being the focus. So that's my excuse. But it is cute little dinosaur paper. I think it actually might have been a 6x6 paper pack, because I can see that I have one square here and one square here, and they're different. So don't be afraid to use 6x6 papers on your layouts. We went to that little town called Vernal, took a few pictures, ate at Cafe Rio, which is a really yummy Utah chain of restaurants. And I posted on Facebook that we were at, I checked in at this restaurant, and lo and behold, a good friend of ours from our Army days showed up, had seen my post. I was going to message her after dinner and tell her we were in town for the night, but she got to me first. And so that was super fun to have my friend stop by and see us when we were in, a town where really we shouldn't have known anybody. It was just kind of a miracle that she had ended up there. So that was really fun to see her. And then finally, just the end of our journey. This is my beloved Gallivant paper pack, and just some pictures of the drive home. I didn't journal a whole lot about the drive. It was not a pleasant drive home. We caught some bug at the family reunion and pretty much got caught in traffic going over the Rocky Mountains in Colorado, and just wanted to get home. So this is the end of our trip, and the end of volume 3 of my 3-volume Summer Vacation 2015 scrapbook. I have not done the spines yet, but I do plan to get those embossed so that I'll be able to have that continuity on my shelf, and so that people besides me will know which album is which without having to open it up and look for the volume 3. So thanks very much. I really have enjoyed sharing some of my albums with you. I have not necessarily finished I have not at all finished all these albums just recently. Some of these are some that I've done previously. So I can't promise that I'm going to be posting album flip-throughs every week. But right now, as I'm kind of trying to catch up and show off some of my more recent things, as long as you guys are wanting to see them, I will continue doing some album flip-throughs. So feel free to, let me know in the comments if you like the album flip throughs. If you do, if you enjoy this, if you want to hit subscribe, I get a little notification from YouTube anytime someone subscribes to my channel, and it just makes my day to know that you guys enjoyed my videos and want to see more. So thanks a lot, and happy scrapbooking!